Today we're going to be learning about Google Earth. Kind of what can it do for you in the classroom, no matter what level of child you teach. Basically, it comes down to the maps and the globes in our rooms are all going to be outdated, if not outdated already. And Google Earth is updated often and also includes satellite images, as well as there's a button you can click to look out in space and see all these different constellations. Pretty impressive. I'm going to talk about how I use Google Earth in my classroom. We were reading an article in Time for Kids about the multiple earthquakes that rocked Indonesia. In the Time for Kids website, there's a little mini lesson section. I clicked on 4 to 6 and then popped up with this. And I can click on this link here and it will take me to the actual article. So we read that. What we could do is either print it out or all the kids could pull it up on their own personal computer and read through what was going on. Once we're done with that, we looked at the traditional maps in our classroom, and the kids are like, I can kind of tell where this is on the globe and on the flat map, but it's kind of hard for them to understand exactly where Indonesia was. So what I decided to do is launch Google Earth. Google Earth is a free download. To find it, you could just go to Google and type in Google space Earth, and it'll pop up. It'll allow you to download the latest version, install it on your computer. You'll be ready to go. So here we are with our Google Earth. So what do we do now? Once it loads up, it's going to spin to where we are. Over in the search feature here, I typed in Indonesia. Then I just hit enter. It's going to fly to that area of the world. And as we can see, it's off a little bit, but there's the country. So the earthquakes actually happen right over here. So what I also did was zoomed in a little bit. I'm using the scroll wheel on my mouse, but in the upper right hand corner, you can also use the plus and minus to zoom in. It's also, for them, it's a little hard, even adults, to conceptualize, well, what is it really like? It must be a faraway exotic land, nothing like where we live. Well, what we can do here is I'm going to zoom into these two little dots. Try to go as quick and smooth as possible, but sometimes it's a little choppy. I'm going to zoom in so they actually can see, now here's a somewhat large city. As I zoom in, I find this circle. It's kind of like a town circle or a roundabout. And as I zoom in, everything pops up. Here's buildings, here's green space, here's a major road. We can look around and find a car or two if we zoom in close enough. So basically, we can show them that this is just like any other country, any other spot. This could be Fenton or downtown St. Louis somewhat. So I'm going to zoom back out. You can continue to look around and you can get lost in this program for hours. But I'm going to zoom out. Because another question the kids might have is, well, I could see the globe fly, but how far really is it from where we are? There's an easy measuring tool. Up here, the ruler. I'm going to click that. It's going to allow us to measure in miles and many other different types of measurements. So once I click on that, I have this little crosshair. So I'm going to click on about where the earthquake was. It gives me a green dot. I'm going to stretch that all the way as far as I can go to the horizon. So far that's 4,453 miles. I'm going to scroll. Keep moving the Earth. I'm going to find Missouri's probably about there, and I believe I can click on right there and extend the line all the way to where we are about. There. So they can see it's, oh wow, over 9,000 miles away. Pretty impressive. So I'm going to go ahead and close that for now. So we have our measurement, and there is Missouri. Oh, roundabout. Well, not quite, but you get the point. From here, now there's some other things. We can zoom into Fenton and really take a look, and then zoom back to, say, Indonesia, and take a look at that city. Maybe even take screenshots and put them up on our web to compare the two. There's a lot of activities we can do with that. Then from here, I'm going to launch the web again, because I can take this a step further. There's a couple of websites out there that will allow you to download incredible amounts of data about earthquakes. Maybe about where they happened, how deep they were, what was the magnitude, what was the date, so you can start to see potentially trends over years. This particular website starts off at 1910 and goes to, say, today, of all that kind of data. We're talking for older kids here. Take that data, you can transport it into Excel, and from Excel you can make different graphs and represent the data in basically almost any way you want to. Probably the better well-known site, here's the site, the ANSS. I also typed in earthquakes into Google and it got our traditional USGS. Here, this one could be used for any grade because we have data that can be exported, as well as the current worldwide earthquake list. Click on that. It's going to pop us into this software that will allow us to kind of pull up a map of exactly where these earthquakes happened. Now it should pull up in a second and it will list everything out, and we can click on map. And it's going to go to the map of Alaska, and we can see exactly where the earthquake happened, when it happened, how big it was, based on the size very quickly of a little square. So we can scan through these squares. A little legend at the bottom. So to use Google Earth, you can do it with, say, LitSet books, which you're reading about. You can do some measuring. You can go in there and look at the sky. Current events is important. For instance, in Darfur, they've re-imaged a part of that area of Africa where you can actually go in and see what remains of some of these villages. There's also some of the links in there where you can click on it and it'll link to an article or an in-depth picture or a personal story. So it's quite impressive. I'm going to launch Google Earth for one last time, and up here I want you to click on that because you'll be able to see the constellations and really zoom in. So if you're doing any Greek mythology, that might be a fun thing to do. One last hidden feature you might not want to tell your students about right away, but it's awesome. In the latest version of Google Earth, there is a flight simulator. So you actually can fly a plane through a city, land it on a landing strip or whatever. So there's a lot of interesting applications you could do with that as well.